I like the chairs, I like the plants, I don't like people, and you just don't get it.
Hell's Gate is a living, breathing story. Sometimes the actors are inspiring me to take that character and push it in a new direction. Sometimes it's a room itself that inspires me to let that kind of breathe and move forward. And in this wonderful case, we have the prisoners of Statesville Haunted Prison coming to Hell's Gate. You know, they've been over there for 20-something years. There's no need to end their story.
But once you bring us here, it's gonna add a whole different level.
The goof troop.
The goof troop.
Getting to go from Statesville that I did for 16 years and now being able to come into this brand new space and act with people that I've never acted with before, like, it's such an exciting thing.
We're not starting from scratch. We can either add to your story or we could scratch it and start brand new because you don't like wearing that anymore.
Once I heard that, man, I'm so excited.
Chunks, I don't think I ever knew your name.
It's Doug.
Doug!
My character's name is Doug, and that was purely because of no planning. Someone asked me what my name was, and I didn't have a real answer for him.
He's like, what's your name? And I said, what's your name? And he said, Doug.
He's just trying to take care of everyone. He's a low-level person at this place, but then things start to get real weird and people start getting possessed. And Doug just didn't really know what to do. So he put some makeup on his face and pretended to be one of them and just continued to do what he knew how to do.
It was one of my favorite things we created is scary characters that were actually there to help the audience. It goes all the way back to when we did Container 9 and we had the owls. They were there to help you. I think that'd be a really fun thing to do specifically with Doug. Do you have a super goal, a super objective, the one thing that drives you every day?
To get everyone back on the bus.
I did start working on a HellsGate character.
Okay.
That is a baby. Yeah. An old farmer kid turned manic baby. Had a pet chicken and loved the chicken, his best friend, and it died.
Oh.
Yeah. And at that point, he was like 7.
Okay.
Just never matured from there.
Does he still have the chicken?
Yeah, it turned it into a doll.
Yeah. I had a discussion with Johanna yesterday. I'm like, I know tomorrow we're supposed to be creating things from new, but I already see David, and I know exactly what he should be.
This is orphan number 001. Behind the walls turned out to be a room that people really resonated with. A lot of times people say that it's the room that really gets to them. And last year, I made this guy who was kind of the prototype. They all have little jumpsuits. So they're kind of as though they were fashioned out of things they found around the house, linens and curtains and things. And they'll have little butt flaps too. I just want you to know that. This is what the mask collection is going to look like. We're halfway done now.
I'd love to see you with an animal like a rabbit, because I think adding the rabbit ears to the top of your head, it just how much of a frame you would take up that way. I just love the idea of David and the tiny little orphans with him, like he's the protector.
Heretic kind of got started as a joint thing between me and Corey Riley, who's Boopers, my other half from Statesville. He was one of the top dogs, you know, it was the clowns from Statesville that really everyone was feared of. So now that he's gonna be coming to this house, he's not really too fond of this whole darkness business. The darkness would be uncomfortable for him.
Okay.
Because he's used to just being able to do what he wants, whereas the darkness has its own idea.
Heretic is absolutely hilarious to me. The fact that Heretic is over here just trying to blend in, because all of this freaks him out.
Statesville, you know, it was the straight jacket, you know, all the metal, very constricted. Now, nice pants with some suspenders. Got these Queen Victoria ruffles for my wrists and my neck that I think are very elegant.
I can totally see him in the twins room and seeing the other clowns and like realizing he can blend. Yeah. Exactly. You know, so like this, as fast as he can, putting black makeup over his red. Yeah. Like, and looking at, oh, you're weird. Grab your own hair, kind of like, oh. You know, your makeup's not gonna work. And then you look up through the reflection to him. Hey, you got anything for this?
I feel like that's gonna be a really fun experience to try and act out.
I look like you now.
My character started in the waiting room of a really f***ed up maniac doctor, and she was always trying to hide away from him, barricade herself, protect herself, because she didn't have a lot of power. When she was in Statesville, she cocooned herself in a bunch of chairs, and that's how she felt safe. And now there's a bunch of plants here.
Oh,
so
yeah,
I
we're gonna
feel-
play with this.
And there's chairs.
We do have chairs. Chair hallway.
Literally, so like chairs on plants on chairs on plants on chairs on plants.
I gotta think about chairs.
I think that when she comes to Hell's Gate and gets infected by the darkness, she loves it.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, this is power. Okay, I like this.
Nice.
I like Doug's like, dude, we gotta get out of here. I'm like, no. I'm changing her outfit. Out with the straight jacket, in with a bodice. We got frills, old tattered trench coat. I got some fancy new boots. I have that big wound on my forehead. I want like plants growing out of it.
I love that.
Like, she has like a purpose now, you know? She's here to take care of those plants. And I think having some kind of like end goal for her, I think is gonna be really interesting to play with.
We have Sharky.
I don't know who that girl is.
I think Sharky is just an absolute delight.
Yeah!
What do you love about Sharky?
It's just me in a dress. That's it. She is pretty much just this manic, crazy.
And then last year you stepped over Fluffy's corpse and took
I
over
did
the
not do that.
entire tent. I'm certain you're the one who gave him COVID, just so you could take the moment.
You wouldn't think that it would fit in this house because it's so theatrical, but everybody kind of agreed with me, like, having that kind of, like, comic relief. It's like, I don't want her to understand that she's being enveloped. She's completely oblivious. She has no brain cells in her head.
You don't know who's following you in this place.
Okay.
It's a new place to you. So it's totally justified to always kind of like, you know, make sure. You know, you just met a lot of weird people on the front porch. You don't trust all of them right away.
No.
Okay?
I wanted to keep the playful, like, silly little baby clown-esque costume. The puffy skirt, the puffy sleeves, but just all black. Doing some little lacy bits, and some really cool shoes, so. And the makeup will correlate with the black and red dress as well. It's not gonna be the same, it's gonna be a little different, but I'm very excited.
Not just the people who design and ran Statesville are here, but the energy and the characters from Statesville are here too. I think this is gonna be one hell of a weird year.
So I really want to try and involve myself and make myself be one with this house.
Like that. I'm just really excited to get out there and do it.
Even in, you know, this hot, humid, deadlines creeping over us every second, shadows of October looming over us, I'm still having fun like a kid because these kids are cracking me up and telling me new stories.
I am honestly scared to be here. I like to describe myself as I'm a big enough cat to play outside, but I'm definitely an indoor cat.